take, I will give you right back. Start by closing your eyes, baby, it's easy. I can ease your mind if you would let me touch you right, give you my everything in good time, baby, believe me. Take my hand, kiss me, I'll kiss you back, just me. I don't wanna wait another day, I wanna drive you crazy. You feel my hand, just breathe on the smell of your back, come with me. I don't wanna wait another day, I wanna drive you crazy. Pick it up just a little bit more. Give it to me, what you waiting for? Pick it up just a little bit more. I'll give it to you, I couldn't want you more. Let me touch you right. 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 Take my hand, I'll kiss you back. I don't wanna wait another day. When you feel my hand on the small of your back, I don't wanna wait another day. So far from who I was, from who I love, from who I ought to be. So far from all our dreams, from all I mean, from you here next to me. So far from who I was, from who I love, from who I ought to be. So far from all our dreams, from all I mean, from you here next to me. So far from seeing home, I stand out here alone. Am I asking for too much? So far from being free of the past that's haunting me, the future I just can't touch. Say my name when no one is around you. Say, baby, I love you if you ain't running game. Say my name, you acting kinda shady. Ain't calling me baby, better say my.
Any other day I would call, you would say, baby, how's your day? But today, it ain't the same. Every other word is a yeah, okay. Could it be that you are at the crib with another lady?
If you took it there, first of all, let me say, I am not the one to sit around and be played. So prove yourself to me, I'm the boy that you claim. Why don't you say the things that you said to me yesterday?
I know you say that I am missing things.
Something's going down, it's a base scene.
Should have been a reason why you acted strange.
Nobody's holding you back from me,
'Cause I know how you usually do.
you're saying everything to me times two.
Why can't you just tell the truth? If somebody's there, then tell me who.
Say my name when no one is around you. Say, baby, I love you if you ain't running games. Say my name, you acting kinda shady. Ain't calling me baby, why the sudden change? What is up with this? Tell the truth, who you with? How would you like it if I came over with my clique? Don't try and change it now. I see you've got a bounce when 2 seconds ago said you just got in the house.
It's hard to believe that you are at home by yourself when I just heard the voice or the voice of someone else. Just this question, why do you feel you gotta lie? Getting caught up in your game when you cannot say my name. I know you say that I am assuming things.
Something's going down, it's a base scene.
Should have been a reason why you acted strange.
Nobody's holding you back from me,
'Cause I know how you usually do.
you're saying everything to me times two.
Why can't you just tell the truth? If somebody's there, then tell me who. Say my name when no one is around you. Say, baby, I love you if you ain't running games. Say my name, you acting kinda shady. Ain't calling me baby, all of a sudden, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Say my name.
I say my name.
No one is around you. Say,
Around
baby,
you.
I love you if you ain't
Said I
running games. Say my
love
name,
you. Said I love
you acting kinda shady. Ain't calling me baby.
Say my name when no one is around you. Say, baby, I love you if you ain't running games. Say my name, you acting kinda shady. Ain't calling me baby, all of a sudden
That
change.
you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And you would naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure, see. And after several nights, you would say, well, that was pretty great. But now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control. Well, something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be. Then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. Finally, you would dream where you are now. awaken from this illusion, and you understand that black implies white, self implies other, life implies death, you can feel yourself not as a stranger in the world, not as something here on probation, not as something that has arrived here by fluke, but you can begin to feel your own existence as absolutely fundamental. What you are basically, deep, deep down, far, far in, is simply the fabric and structure of existence itself.
Your words have always been the same. I know you never get it. 100% because you're just a man. No, I don't believe it.
All right, good. That was
I know you
great.
see
Hello,
it.
everyone from all around the world, and welcome to the Zoukathon. If you're just joining us now, we have a class now and a little demonstration going on from the amazing Guy and Kelsey. These guys do a lot of love in the American Zouk scene, so come and check these guys out now and enjoy their amazing work. And don't forget to check out the Give Button page and donate if you can. We'd love to see you. We'd love to have your donations, but also we just love to share our love of Zouk with you all. So take it away, Guy and Kelsey.
So good, so good. What we were wasn't healthy. So many scars to heal. We both deserve to be happy. That's why I chose love myself.
e eu não valho nada, e eu não valho nada, e eu não valho nós dois em um só, eu só não valho nada, eu só penso em nós dois, varando a madrugada, nós dois em um só, eu só não valho nada, eu só penso em nós dois, varando a madrugada, e eu não valho nada. Eu não valho nada, e eu não valho nada, nada. Chega mais e vem ficar comigo aqui. A gente faz amor e paz sem fim. Vem logo pra cá e não demora, por favor. Sei que faz um tempo, mas nada mudou. Nós dois em um só, eu só não valho nada, eu só penso em nós dois, varando a madrugada. Nós dois em um só, eu só não valho nada, eu só penso em nós dois, varando a madrugada.
Here I am, starting over once again. I lost my place, the edges frayed, it's oriented, and it's still so hard to face when you cry.
Love this
here and now. Wanna cry on your shoulder, last night. I know I'll be okay. Seasons come and go, nothing lasts forever. One more time. Love is so still. Life is now or never. You and I can make the world alone. Now's the time to shine. Now's the time to stand up tall. We can have it all. All the stars we like, every ending turn around. 'Cause it's our time. Start now.
Está na minha quarta, faz som, tá pensando na boa. Caneta na mão, caderno na pé, tá fazendo letra de amor. E me grito nebudinha lor. Cabeça de encostar, ano fazia amor. Te amanhecer, queria acordar na mulher. Toma café de manhã, o bom. E as letras e papel, tudo letras em som, tudo minha chanson. E tá fala amor. As letras e papel, tudo minha inspiração. A momento faz som, nunca lembra de dor. Lembra de dor. Está na minha quarta, faz som, tá pensando na voz. Caneta na mão, caderno na pé, tá fazendo letra de amor. E grito em nebudinha larga, cabeça bem encostar, pra não fazer amor. De amanhecer, queria acordar na mulher. Toma café de manhã, e as letras e papel, tudo letras em som, tudo minha canção, que da fala de amor. E as letras e papel, tudo minha inspiração. No momento faz som, ainda lembra de bom, na minha dia. Tem um momento que ainda lembra de bom. Saudade dá no coração. Tem que ligar pra não ouvir por voz, pra não matar a saudade, pra não fazer passar tempo que vou gastar. E hora que gosta
Las letras de babord. We're just having some technical difficulties here, but do not leave the Zouk Telethon. We'll be back with some music very, very soon. DJ Fabby's still going sick. DJ Fabby, we can't hear your music. Oh, there it is. All right, take it away, Guy and Kelsey.
listening iHeart Zouk Radio with DJ Fab.
Get on my knees, baby, please.
DJ Fab.
¿Para qué vas a olvidar? Yo he tenido tanto temor. ¿Para qué vas a olvidar? Si solo quiero poco.
Juke Radio with DJ Fab.
Chorando se foi, quem um dia só me fez chorar. Chorando se foi, quem um dia só me fez chorar. Chorando estará ao lembrar de amor que um dia não soube cuidar. Chorando estará ao lembrar desse amor que um dia não soube cuidar. A recordação vai estar com ela onde for. A recordação vai estar pra sempre onde for. Dança só do mar, guardarei no olhar. O amor faz perder e encontrar. Clamando estarei ao lembrar desse amor. Por um dia, um instante foi rei.
That's it, guys. I would like to say thank you for everyone to listen to me this evening here in Brazil. I would like to say thank you to this couple, Gui and his partner. See you guys tomorrow. And I would like to say thank you one more time for Anna. Anna, muito obrigado.
Cool.
I would say so important for us. This is I Heart Zouk Radio. See you guys tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you, DJ Fabio Araújo from I Heart Zouk Radio. Thank you so much for your incredible music. It was so nice watching everyone dance to that. And I just wanted to pop in here before we have our next little guests on, just to say that keep an eye out on the Give Butter page for the online Zouk Telethon. We're up to about $500 now, and this is going to be distributed among some artists that were hit really hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. So anything you can give would be great. You can share the link. You can go to the YouTube link and share it there. That'd be great too. And just come and keep us company and enjoy some dancing. Before we get going with our next little group, I just wanted to mention that the Zouk Babes, run by Christina Montoya, are having a new intake for their next choreography. If you want to head to zoukbabes.com, you'll be able to check out all the information for those amazing groups that Christina runs out of the US. But I think it's time for us to get going, and we have 4 people all the way from good old AU Australia down here where I am. We have Bruno, Sarah, Izzy, and Steve coming through. And I believe, if I'm correct, that Izzy and Steve, you guys are going to be starting us off with a bit of a video. Is that right?
That is correct.
All right. So I'm going to jump off because ain't nobody want to see this anymore. And I'll kick it over to Izzy, Steve, Bruno, and Sarah.
Cool. Awesome. Hi, guys. So the way this is going to work is I'd prepared, actually, before everything got reshuffled, I'd prepared a bit of a talk around choreography and creating concepts. So, and Anna was going to show our video and Sarah and Bruno were going to perform, I think. But unfortunately that wasn't able to happen. So what we're going to do instead is I will show a video of our choreography from last year, and then I'll talk a bit about the way I do choreography and create concepts around choreography. And then after that, the four of us are going to have a chat about choreography, basically, and anything else that comes up. So, Sarah, Bruno, Steve, feel free to jump in if you have anything particular to say. But I think that's just going to be the easiest way to flow through. Sound all right?
How's it going, mate?
Good.
Oh, mate.
Oh, looking good, Bruno.
Steve's hair has actually grown. So there was a joke that when Steve shaved from ISO trauma, he's not going to cut it until we get out of isolation. So let's see how long. Yeah? But that Steve looked exactly like Bruno when he shaved his head. So Steve was pretty happy with that. Everyone knows Bruno's a pretty good looking guy.
Oh, I don't know about that. Just my mom knows that.
Just your mom.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to get started with the video. Basically, Anna specifically asked Steve and I to do this show. And I said, I'm really, really sorry, Anna, but we are way too unfit right now to do this show. Can we show a video and talk about it instead? And so kindly Anna said, yes, for sure. So I'm going to do my best to share it through YouTube. I know that sometimes when you share on a Zoom, it doesn't come across that well. So I will share the link to the YouTube video as well. So if you guys don't get a good shot on the Zoom link, then you can watch it later properly. So it is.
So you can click, there's two buttons at the bottom when you share, where you can share optimized for streaming. So that will help.
I am doing this right now.
I'm going away. Bye.
Enjoy. Here's the show.
Time's ticking faster than my beating heart. It's coming closer to the time we'll spend apart. Smiles are few and far between. Didn't think that life meant you could be so fucking mean. I want to run away, far away from this, but you didn't think I'd fucking do it. Now watch me go, I'm looking back at you. Baby, I see your heart splitting, I see it splitting into two. Time's ticking faster than my beating heart. Didn't think that life meant you could be so fucking mean. I want to run away, far away from this. Baby, I see your heart splitting, I see it splitting into two. Time's ticking faster than my beating heart. It's coming closer to the time we'll spend apart. Smiles are few and far between. Didn't think that life meant you could be so fucking mean. Time's ticking faster
Did it work?
Oh yeah.
Yay! So this was our show that we did
Very nice, very nice.
last year, and it was amazingly filmed at the Salsa Foundation. So I thought that would be a nice one to show as well, because it's a beautiful filming on the sides. It looks really cool with the mirror. So,
Yeah.
so I'm going to talk a bit about this. So I did create some slides because I'm a little bit of a nerd. So I'm going to show a little bit of the PowerPoint slides and also come back to me a little bit as well, so you don't have to stare on slides. But this is my perspective. So I was asked to talk about this. My instinct was I don't have any authority to talk about choreography. I've never really studied it professionally or anything like that, but I have been doing it over many years. And when I started writing what I would say, I realized that I have a lot to say about this. So I love to create different choreographies. And one of the things I particularly like to do when I choreograph is create concepts and stories as we go. So it's my perspective. I have no official training in it, but this is the way I do it. So I'm going to share. We're going to talk a little bit about the steps that I go through when I create a choreography, and then I'll relate it a bit to the mirror choreography that you guys just saw, and then we're all going to have a bit of a chat about it. If anyone has any questions, I think you can post in the Facebook chat, and hopefully someone will let me know because I can't see the chat right now. So the first thing you want to figure out when you're choreographing is why you're doing it, because that's going to help you create a piece that's going to be suitable. So there are lots and lots of reasons why you might want to do a choreography. You might just want to challenge yourself. It might be for a particular event or a competition. It might be to showcase Zouk to a community that doesn't know Zouk very well. It might be to showcase dance to your local community that perhaps are non-dancers. So thinking about your audience, why you're doing it personally, and then like what the purpose of the show would be, the type of show as well. So a choreography for a competition would be different for a choreography to tell a story or a choreography to showcase Zouk. So all that's going to be playing into the type of choreography and how you choreograph. And also, of course, the location. So you can see these photographs. One of them is the one on the right, is from an isolation choreo project that we did over 4 weeks, where each student was then to video in their own house with their phone. So we had to choreograph specifically so that you didn't move out of the frame, that you were able to do it in a small space, all that sort of stuff. So that was one specific type of choreography that we had to do. And on the other side is choreography we were able to perform outside, and one we performed on a stage. So all those things are going to play into your choreography. For the mirror choreography, our purpose was to challenge ourselves particularly, but also to tell a story and to represent ourselves and Dance AM, our dance school, at different congresses and events. So we had to take into the account the fact that we had to travel and fly. So my initial concept for how we would create a mirror wasn't going to work for that concept. So we had to modify, and actually I much prefer the little mirror that we ended up using. So little things you need to think about. Then music. Music is hard. I'm just gonna come back to me. Music, I think, is one of the most important key aspects of a choreography. It's gonna make or break, but can be very, very difficult to find the right song. So for me, the key elements of a song that I'm looking for is that it changes enough so that you can have an interesting choreography with light and shade. It needs to be able to hold a Zouk beat, so you can dance at least some basics and laterals and things to it. So it is a Zouk choreography or whatever dance style you're trying to do. And they're probably the main two aspects, and then it needs to grab me and inspire me. So the song that I can already feel myself dancing to in my head when I first hear it, when I can feel like different motions and different movements, that's the key for me. And then I add all those songs to a list. So I jump on Spotify and I listen to about 5 or 10 seconds of a song before I click next. If it passes the first 10-second check, then I usually just jump to the middle of the song and do the middle of the song check. And that gets rid of heaps and heaps of songs. And then you get a short list and you would obviously listen all the way through and then choose one that grabs you. And Steve and I have sometimes started a choreography and then had to completely scrap the song. Yeah, don't be afraid to scrap the song if it's not working and start again. Ideally, you realize that pretty early on. So that's the way I do it. And then cutting it, that's a whole nother thing. It can be a bit tricky. I use a program called Audacity, but I'm not going to go into how to do that. That's a whole nother talk. So let's go to the next slide. Concepts and stories. This is my favorite part. So you don't always have to have a concept or a story, but it's my preference. I also do feel like you want to have an idea of what the audience is going to take from the show. So even if it is just to wow the audience, even if it is to just portray a feeling of a song, like the song is quite a happy song, so to portray that happy feeling, or the song is quite sad, so to portray that, that is one way to do it. I, as I said, love to have a story. So the way that I come up with my stories, I think it's quite an artistic process. So everyone's going to have different ways. One of them is to just start to look at what the song means, perhaps by the artist, and what they meant by the song, and go with their story. Or more commonly for me, it's little things that grab me in the song and then I create a different story around it. So for the mirror choreography, there are lyrics that say, you could be so fucking mean. I bet you didn't think I'd fucking do it. Words like smiles are few and far between. So all those lyrics started bubbling in my head. And I think the singer is actually singing about a breakup, as they always do. And the ex-boyfriend, yeah, exactly. The ex-boyfriend being or something. But I wanted to twist that a little bit. The lyrics that were coming up were triggering a little bit of more a concept of self. So self, inner negative talk and inner demons and yeah, self-hatred and destructive behaviors, self-destructive type of behaviors. So that's where the concept of mirror came in. And you can see from the photos, like on the left there, Steve is actually whispering in my ear. And that's supposed to represent the inner demon, like that voice inside your head. Steve actually tried to just go pss, 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 on the stage and it just didn't look right. So what were you saying, Steve?
We had I used to swear at her and one of the guys used to say, don't swear, don't swear. So I used to go, make me a sandwich, make me a sandwich. That's what I'm actually saying.
Because people get really good at lip reading swear words.
True.
But yeah, and then obviously in the bottom photo is representing staring, that moment of staring in the mirror and talking to yourself in the mirror. So that is where that concept came from. Other ways that I elaborate on concepts, so I often just listen to the song over and over, often on headphones, because on headphones you can hear different parts of the music and you often hear it in a slightly different way. And I like to write down the ideas that are coming to me. You'll find that sometimes ideas and that creative process doesn't work very well when you focus on it all the time. You know how you get ideas in the shower, you get ideas when you're out for a walk. So often that's a good way to trigger ideas as well. And I don't always come up with the full concept before we start choreographing, or we come up with the full story and then halfway through I say to Steve, I hate the ending, we've got to change it. And he says, to what? And I say, I don't know, but it's not this ending. And he gets really frustrated, but we figure it out eventually. So Yeah, that is the next step in developing the concept. And then we have, let me just share. After that, so just whiz through this again. We map out the choreography. Sometimes I do this straight away and have like a really good draft and then start inserting moves. Sometimes as we start to add moves and pieces to the music, then the mapping becomes more clear. But basically you want to make sure that you have a start, a middle, and an end to your choreography. I think that's really important. And usually there are some highlights within the music that you might already have decided what highlights you might want to do. I always map it musically, so with the quiet parts or the louder parts of the music and those hits or highlights that you want to do, but also physically. Sometimes I'm really focused on whereabouts on the stage that we are. So the picture on your screen is from our 2018 choreography called Open Hands. And the physicality or the mapping actually physically on the stage was really essential for that choreography. So what we did was the stage left represented the past and stage right represented the future. So if anyone wants to go back and check out that choreography, it is up on YouTube. I think look up, I'll add it to a link somewhere. You can see that we start on the stage left and we start walking across the stage. That's the past. And throughout the story or the concept, I or the girl keeps getting drawn into the past and distracted by the past and can't quite move forward. And towards the end, we have this resolution and we both walk into the future together. So the mapping physically on the stage for that choreography particularly was really, really essential. But it doesn't have to be. It's just one option. Yeah, something that came out with the story for that one particularly. Remember, when you're then adding all your steps, you don't have to start at the beginning. Sometimes you start in the middle and then fill in the beginning, or sometimes you start at the beginning and skip the middle and do the end and then have to come back. So don't worry about doing that. You can start wherever and fill in all the gaps. Steps, I like to write down a list of particular moves that I really like doing and I think will look good in a choreography, usually ones that I know. And then we find inspiration perhaps from watching videos and things like that to add in a couple of others. And then often the fill-in steps are often more around what direction or what movement the step is that we need. Where we might need to travel to get to the next part of the story or something like that. And that's how we fill in the other steps. I think one of the main things to note when you're making a choreography as opposed to social dancing is direction. So you've got to remember that the audience is going to be on one side, and then sorry, just stop sharing so you can see me. The audience is going to be on one side. So a lot of social moves are quite inward and they're not going to work very well on a stage. Or the connections can be really challenging because your dancing might turn around and face the other direction, but actually you want to showcase in one direction. So just be really mindful of that when you're choosing your Zouk steps and things, to be mindful of the directions. And also I really like to focus on small moments as well as big. So thinking about that light and shade. So you want the highlights, but the highlights are not going to stand out unless you've got the lowlights as well, those more subtle moments. Or thinking about just moving one hand, or just moving your eyes, or eyes and head, or just rolling one shoulder. Those types of movements can be just as powerful, if not more powerful sometimes, than doing crazy triple spins or doing crazy lifts and kicks like are on the slide that you were seeing. So let me come back to this. So next up, training. This is a nice photo of Steve and my passed out face. Training. So whenever you have a choreography, you have to just make it work and make it flow, and 1,000 times, if not more. One thing that's really important though, when you are training it, video it, look at it, see what it looks like, because then you're going to know when to change things, and you're not going to train something 100 times and then realize you have to change it. So change it, watch it back, pick the parts that don't work, cut them out, modify them. As I said, sometimes just a simple hand or a look might actually just be all you need. Get feedback. So Steve and I have used a few different dancers here in Melbourne to help us with our choreographies, not the teachers. So in the mirror choreography, we got Phil Haddock, who's an amazing hip hop dancer, to help us. We did 2 privates with him just sporadically through the year, but he was amazing in giving us ideas for little tiny changes that could just make the choreography pop. Sorry. And Ben Cure did some lyrical stuff with us, and I've used a guy called Fabio Robles, who's a tango instructor, who's also really amazing at making choreographies pop. So I'd really highly recommend getting feedback from other people, but also getting a professional involved, whether it's a Zouk teacher or a non-Zouk teacher, to just add little tweaks and watch it from the outside, watch it as someone that's never seen it before. That can really help to make it pop. So we train. We often train in small spaces, so we need to balance that out also with the large giant casa stages. Oh yeah, we train on the beach for our lifts, so when Steve drops me, he never drops me, but I can fall on the sand without dying, so that's really fun. Plus you can mix your summer holiday with your training, which is quite fun, or you used to be able to pre-COVID. And last thing, which I sort of already touched on, but flair and enhancement. So these are sort of those differences between social dancing and choreography, of things like, one thing I particularly am conscious of is something that looks, so I would watch the whole choreography and look at the snapshots, so the photo moments. So if someone did take a photo of this moment, are the lines really nice? Are my arms matching Steve's leg? Is the eye line beautiful? Is the shoulder line beautiful? So that would be the photos, and I would look through the whole choreography at the photo moments, but also then the flow moments. So what's the motion happening on the stage? Is it a spinning manic type of motion? Is it a soft, gentle, sweeping motion? So the flow of the movements is equally as important as those photo moments. And sometimes it's more so, I believe, which is why some dancers that look completely amazing in person don't always translate well to photographs, because the flow of the motion can be really beautiful. But sometimes the photo moments are not there, but the flow moments are there. Think about where the eye is drawn. So whether you just do, everything is still and one hand moves, or you turn your head, as I mentioned before. So where are you attracting the audience's attention? Repeat features. So it might be a particular hand gesture. I'll show you where we do this in the mirror choreography as well. Spatial consideration, so using the whole stage, moving directions. Maybe you need to move forward, you move backwards, you move diagonally, you move in a circle, all those sorts of things. Think about levels. So are you going down low? Are you doing lifts and things up high? That sort of thing. Yeah, when we do group choreographies, you get to be, there's even more options to get creative with this. So more challenges as well. So with groups, you can, and particularly students who are not so familiar with doing choreography, I love to do direction changes and position changes and things, but for students particularly, it can be even like a whole other element. And particularly when you want to perform something multiple times and you know certain couples can only do certain shows, it gets really complicated to then train new positions for every show, which is why you'll sometimes see student performances where people pretty much stay in the same spot the whole time, because it does logistically make it a lot easier. But from an audience perspective, in my personal opinion, that shifting and the changing and the transitions of the couples going through each other or circling each other can really be a whole nother element to it, to the performance in and of itself. So I think that's really, really cool. That is pretty much what I wanted to say about choreography. I'm just gonna quickly go through the mirror choreo. So this is the summary. So I'm gonna quickly go through the mirror choreo with some of those concepts that we used specifically, and then we'll have a chat. But just to summarize, when you're creating the choreography, so you need your purpose, why you're doing it, and what your audience is, choosing the music, cutting the music, coming up with a concept of the feel of the choreography and perhaps a story. So really brainstorming that and getting creative can be quite a process of putting some of that stuff on stage. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
So it can be a really vulnerable process to go through the concepts. So just thinking about it, don't be afraid to change it, don't be afraid to try different things and then get feedback on them. So yeah, that's creating the concepts, mapping it out both physically and musically through the song with your highs and your lows, your highlights, your lowlights, your softness or your hard-hitting moments. The staging of it, the start and the end, creating the steps and making sure the steps in the way that you're doing them works well for the audience, and having those highlights, training some more, videoing it, getting someone to look at it, modifying it, adding those little flair parts. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Costumes as well is something, it's again a whole nother thing. Don't wait to the last minute, because our last choreography costume I was really not happy with, but we didn't have time to do anything about it. Yeah, and then you can have a beautiful show, and it can be so rewarding to create a piece and get it out there and see that people enjoy. So thanks, Anna, for asking us to present about this particular choreography. So just quickly, in terms of mirror, this is how some of those elements came through. So in the beginning is the story or the concept, introducing that concept of looking in the mirror, talking to yourself, hating yourself, that inner demon coming out. Then she turns away from the mirror, but the inner demon follows her and is talking into her ear, talking inside her head. So this is that moment of Steve, being my inner demon, saying, make me a sandwich. And then this concept is Steve taking over. So that inner demon, that madness taking over. This actually, the lyrics of this moment is splitting in two. So it's sort of that concept of the madness taking over and just kind of dissolving into it and fighting it. So this is the start of the girl giving up or getting fatigued of fighting the madness, sort of submitting to the madness. So at this moment, I just release all my energy and just let go and kind of collapse into the story. This was a moment, I don't know if you noticed in the show when I showed it, but there's a moment in the music where it goes dum, dum, dum. There are 3 knocks. I don't know if you can hear that. And I said, Steve, do something like that little moment, that little highlight in the music is really cool if we can bring it out with the movement. So I think this is a really cool concept when you're choreographing, that sometimes your movement can actually make people hear the music differently. And Steve was like, what 3 knocks?
Honestly, I couldn't hear the 3 knocks. And now when I watch back the choreography and I see myself doing the emphasis of these knocks, you can really hear the music. So it really brings the music out, which is an incredible thing. It's amazing.
Yeah, so we listened to the song like 5 times before he was like, oh yeah, I kind of hear it now. But I think, but I hear it already because I obviously choreographed it. But I think that by doing that motion, you actually then hear it in the music when you might not have heard it before. So that's quite an interesting choreographic technique that we use there.
We did it a few times.
Yeah, we did a few moments. I often like to do that. So when I'm listening to the music, and particularly on the headphones, I'm not only listening to the beat, but then I might even listen to the song again and specifically focus on the lyrics, or I might specifically then focus on one instrument or another instrument, on those sound effects that are a bit more subtle, but then you can really bring them out within the movements that you choose. This moment here, the voice is screaming. So that's why we're doing this highlight here. So this is one of our highlight moments that we wanted to do. This one was a key one that the hip hop teacher helped us just add in a little extra element. And that was my little hand grasp at the top. So before that, I think I was just reaching up, but he helped, he suggested that I do this grasp of my hands. So that was one moment that really added to the overall presentation. So after all that madness, this is again like a spiraling sound. So it goes woo. So this is that transition back to reality, and straight after, or sort of coming out of the madness. And then straight after, this is the moment where she looks at him and realizes that he is her, or he is following exactly what she is doing. So he is her reflection, and she actually has control. So this moment is her then puppeteering him, or creating, controlling the monster in her head. This is the flip-flop between being the monster and coming back to reality. This is the lyrics saying, smiles are few and far between, and I'm doing like a little gesture over my face to smile.
You also put me back in the mirror.
Yeah, Steve is back in the mirror.
Put the demons away.
Put the demons away, exactly. So the smiles are few and far between. It's just that repeated gesture that I mentioned before. So sometimes it's nice to have one little element that flows throughout the choreography. Sometimes what happens is people try to add a story to a choreography, but it's really, really clear in the beginning, and then it disappears throughout the dance and doesn't really hit the story at the end. So it's nice to have some sort of motif or something that you can repeat throughout the story that helps carry it through. And then Steve pulls me through the mirror, and I'm back stuck. So what happens after that little motif is I do a big sigh, and then the madness sort of creeps up again. So the concept being that sometimes you think you're over that inner demons issue, but it might come back to you, and it might make you stuck in your mirror. So the last moment of Steve pulling me through the mirror, Steve can tell you guys about that. But yeah, that's pretty much our little story. Do you want to tell the story about?
Well, just on that mirror, Izzy came to me with this song. She says, I've got this vision with a frame. That's it. That was what we started with. So we had the song, and then we concept with the mirror. And I remember the early days, it was actually quite exciting going through the concept. By now I'm used to Izzy. We've got to have a story, we've got to have a journey, we've got to have a concept. I'm from the past, we just put a bunch of moves together and we put on a show. No, not with Izzy. So it's another level, and it was so enriching. But just to work out I'm like a bit of a sci-fi geek. So we came back and we said, oh, wouldn't it be good to just pull you through the mirror back at the end like this. So that concept.
But the mirror is this big, right? So I was like, how am I going to fit through?
So Anna, and I've got to tell you the truth. The reason we couldn't perform that, it's not that we're not so much unfit.
I wouldn't fit through the mirror.
I can't get the frame anymore. We won't fit. So we spent 8 hours figuring out how to pull Izzy through that frame. 8 hours. I kid you not. Whole day, and then we came back to it again, trying to figure out the smoothest, quickest way of pulling through that frame. And once we got it, and then the whole freeze, like it was quite a powerful statement. So it was good fun. It was good fun. I don't know if you know that, but in that video you saw there, when I jump in the air and I go to jump on her, and like an ape, I actually rolled my ankle. I nearly broke my ankle. The premise of passion you see in my face is not acting. I'm in severe pain. Izzy's going to me, wow, you really were intense. You had the passion. I'm like, oh, I've broken my ankle. So it was good fun. It was good fun. But look, I'm going to jump back to the earlier, if you don't mind.
I'm done with talking, guys.
I'm just going to mention a couple of things. The open hands concept. This is when Izzy and I first started working together in a choreography together. And she goes, we got a story. First thing is like a story. We've just spoken about that. But the whole left hand, right hand stage concept. So I've done acting in the past, but every time we went to the left hand side of the stage, I was sad. I was mournful. I was losing hope. And every time we started to move to the right hand side of the stage, my mood would change. I would become happier. I was airy. I was bigger. I was closed. I was bigger. Now, that's not obvious. It's not obvious at all, but people feel it. So it's something it's a very powerful thing to have, that people feel this emotion. They're not quite sure why. Why am I feeling this? And even William came up to me at the end. Now, Izzy talks about little tiny gestures, not about the grandiose lifts and that. He just did the little.
Oh yeah, he mimicked it.
He did the little hand gestures and the look. That's what they took away. That whole concept and that whole choreography.
And we
took away
crazy spins and stuff.
Two hands and a look, and that's the moment. He bang got him. So it's those things that you take those moments and be very, very careful with them. That you do all these crazy stuff. That's for the show, but for the heart, you've got to have those two. The little, as Izzy said, the light and shade. So for me, it's been amazing working with Izzy and these concepts. So it's good fun. It's good fun.
Yeah. Let's hear from Bruno and Sarah.
Sarah.
Thank you.
Dob him in.
It's Sarah.
Thank you. If we start, I think we'll just start by showing our performance. If I figure out how to do the last one that we did. Let me see how I do this. Technology is not always my friend.
You can do it. No sound.
Yeah, we can see it.
Sound? Okay, give me one sec. How do I share the sound?
There's also a little button when you click share screen at the bottom that says optimize video. I don't know if you saw that.
Sarah, do you need help?
Technology is not my friend.
Technology
doesn't work with me.
First, should be good with technology then.
Then everything works well. Is that better?
Yes.
All that I say
start talking, can we jump back into the screen share for half a second? Like go back to the video for 1 second.
Oh, careful in the trap.
I don't need the sound, I just need the video.
Yeah, yeah.
And go to about halfway. I want to point something out to everyone.
Like,
see in the corner there, everyone, in that back corner behind Sarah's elbow. That's the entire stage crew coming from backstage to poke their heads out the side and get in a lot of trouble from Cheryl for it, to watch this routine because they're bloody amazing. I want to point that out because I love it. It's so cute.
It was pretty cute.
Thank you. That was our last one that we performed. Our last one started at Casa last year. But the way we use our choreographies, we actually start more with movements. So we like experimenting with things we've seen on the internet or on Instagram or those sort of things, and playing around with them for a while. So that we have kind of a set of movements that are interesting. We don't necessarily have a song in mind. We don't necessarily have concept in mind. It's more so basing how we take it further kind of thing. And then try and find a song. Hardest thing. Takes forever.
It's the hardest thing ever. But actually,
for the next one.
Can you hear me? I don't know if I can hear. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Actually, Sarah is really good to find the songs. The only two choreographies we did who find the songs was Sarah. So, and actually, both of them were actually songs that I would never think in choreographing. So that she shoots really amazing songs, but she took out of my comfortable zone. She took me out of my comfortable zone. That was so good. I think my internet's not good now.
Mine's going up and down a little bit. But for us, the concept is the last thing to be. We listen to the song, same as you, Izzy, over and over and over and over and over. So you can find the little highs, the little lows, and then we try and play with those as much as we can. And we'll try and put in those concepts or those movements that we've just had into different sections that we think are kind of the heights. And then the lows, we'll try and connect them so that we move more around more the stage, have that kind of concept. And once we have kind of the building blocks, that's when we'll start going, okay, what kind of emotions per se does the song have, or how can we connect more here? Our biggest thing that we both like to add is that flow. We don't like to see one movement, another movement, another movement. The ideal is to make it look like there's no stop. It's just kind of the music that we have, that we play with, so that so we'll do movements over and over again and just clean up the in-betweens to make it that kind of clean flow, so it just flows from one to another. But same as you said, just listening to that music over and over again, we'll find those highlights and make those little tweaks that connect or highlight little movements or parts of the music that not everyone will hear. And that's usually the kind of the part that will take the longest part, if that makes sense. I think Bruno's just gone off.
It's like he dropped down.
Probably his internet's gone. He'll be back in a sec. But for us, we do similar in the way of for us, a big part is cutting. We'll never use a full song. When we try and find a song, same as you, I'll listen to the first bit, and there he goes, he's come back, and we'll listen to the middle part. We'll never generally use the second chorus or verse. Generally, we'll take that out because it's very similar to the first one. So we'll usually go first verse into the second chorus because it'll have a better kind of build. And then, because we like to go kind of build, highlight, low to a dramatic, and then a finalize. It's our general choreography. We'll always have that kind of 4 stages. So we'll cut it, and Bruno, you're back, but I can't hear you. Bruno?
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
There he's back.
I went back to my phone.
So we'll use, Bruno will cut the music, and then similar to what you do as well, we'll make a kind of a roadmap.
If we need to cut the song.
If we need to cut the song. Generally you do, because generally they're over. We like kind of 3 minutes is a good kind of time to keep the audience's interaction and keep that heart rate up. You go longer than that, it's harder to keep that connection. Sometimes you lose it and they lose that feel. Then for us, we'll also start training different lift concepts. So for me, I don't particularly enjoy lifts. I'm not very good with them, but we'll try different possibilities to see how they'll connect with the highlight of the song. So you'll have one really big build. So for that one was the neck one. Previous one was a shoulder one. But we'll have about 3 different ones we could play with. And then we'll, from those 3, we'll pick the one. I think I'm echoing.
Bruno.
Yeah.
Turn your sound up, Bruno. Mute yourself.
Hello.
So then we'll try from there. We'll pick the best, highest moment, and then we'll work from there kind of downwards afterwards, if that makes sense. So for us, ours concept is the last thing that will kind of draw from what we've created. But the way you use for your concept was exactly what I used to do when I was in contemporary. We used to do a very similar thing, but for us with the partner dance, for our partnership, we find that the movement patterns is what makes it that connection, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sometimes we have some issues. Oh, can you hear me? I'm not sure.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes we had some issues, like she likes to write down every single momentum of like the song, to do everything perfect, and I'm like, I need to do the movement, I need to do the movement, I need to do the movement. I came from a dance company in Brazil. For 20 years I worked there, and we used to do shows like for theaters and this kind of things. So we always used to have training, like rehearsals, 6 hours per day, Monday to Friday, and all main things was creating choreography. And one of the directors, he used to teach us a lot, like how to say it's a creation. So to create something, you need the action. So all action is the movement. So we have to do lots of movement, 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 lots of movement. And then you keep creating, keep inspiring your brain, your mind, and then you keep creating, and then you put in a song that you find. But sometimes what you create actually is not the same. We're gonna use the same song. You have to adapt to the movement. But what I want to say is like more like lots of people just wait for the perfect song, or they wait for the perfect costume or the perfect story. And actually, for me, I'm going from the movement. So I start with the movement, and then I'll go to the song, and then we put everything together. So if you are one day want to create a choreography, don't wait for the perfect song. Go for the movement, start creating, making your movement, make your sequence. And then even if you have to change everything, but at least you're stimulating your brain to keep creating. You're stimulating your brain to keep it doing, to keep working, and not just waiting for one thing that's gonna make the perfect choreography. Never is gonna be, never.
For sure.
And so sorry?
We're doing a choreography project at the moment with some students where we're teaching them a sequence and then putting the same sequence to 3 different songs. So we can start to play a little bit with that exact concept of how do you
change the movement.
So it's the same step, but you move in a different way to then make it fit to the music.
Cool. What we're doing with the project is we're giving them 3 songs and showing them how to change the movement into 3 different pieces of music, quite different. And then
that's awesome.
Find another song and put the movement that they've got into that song on their own. So to change the mood, to change the feel, but it's the same movement, like you were just saying, Brent. It's very important. We do the same thing. We have like 10 movements we want to put into something. We'll have a list, and then we'll go, we want to put these in. You go, and then Izzy's like, how many have we got on the list left? Like there might be, we've put 3 in, we've got 7 to go. Okay, where can we can put that one in here? You start to move
like
them
a
around
puzzle,
and put
isn't
them
it?
in. You stack them in. But the same thing. We look on,
Yeah.
and you think you can dance or World of Dance or something like that. And Izzy goes, I want to do this. I go, are you crazy? So
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to abort it, and sometimes you make it work.
some crazy lift. We've done some
Yeah.
crazy lifts.
Yeah, but it's cool to hear that actually, yeah, we kind of come from different angles, don't we? Like I'm very musically driven, so I almost always find the music first. But yeah, of course, we have those movements in the back of your mind. Yeah, it's cool that
everyone is different. Like I love the way that you explain like the purpose, the music, the concept, the mapping. Is actually like really good things that we normally do, like we end up doing as well, but not like the only thing I don't try to wait for me is the music. But sometimes the music come first. Sometimes you listen a song and just like, that's a song, that's it. And then sometimes you have the song and that's the song I want to do, and then you see actually that's a little bit like more waltz. So
Tell me,
you're like, damn
it. Tell me, guys.
Yeah.
How much training would you do for a 3-minute song, your first performance, and you've done the choreo, you've actually worked it out. Let's say you've got the first draft done, and as you said, you go through a cleaning process. But how many hours, how many runs would you do before you show that?
Can I say, Sarah? When we are doing the choreography, we train every day. Like every day is Monday to Thursdays. Dance, we have our dance school, Bossa Latina, but we meet every day around 11, around 10, and then we go on 11, and then we go to Sarah. Sarah is like looking and it's like, what are you gonna say? And then we work with the progress of the class, of the school, everything. But when you are creating choreography, we go like every day training the choreography. But I'll tell you one thing, we are never ready.
No, of course.
Yeah.
All right. Let me ask you another thing. I know you're never ready. We're never ready either, especially the first show. But when do you feel like you've, right?
Is it 100 hours?
Is it like, how many times, like a year? Like, I think with us, it's after a year where we're finally ready. Year performance.
Like, let's say that in 2018 we did our first choreography together. We changed the end on the date of the performance.
Sarah's face.
Yeah. And then we felt really like dancing better. I think was the last performance we did of this choreography. This last choreography, that was the one that we just saw, actually was a little bit like easy to get the connection because it was a second one together. But we still like some time of the choreography still like it's not really good. That's really good. But Sarah is so good because she see really the small things, like you said, easy, like the arms and this kind of thing. So Sarah just gets me like so much out of my comfort zone because I have such a weird hand, and she tried to fix me all the time. It's like my hands are like this, and I have to work on my hands. I have to work like my chest. Yeah, but it's like it takes a long time. We were going to perform this for today, but yeah, we had one of the students that we had a private had to do a test for the coronavirus, so we stay more at home now. But she just sent a message to us. It's negative.
Fantastic.
It's negative, so she's like, we are fine now, so it's all good. We can go back to
It was
train.
negative.
So
you could have performed.
yeah, yes. Oh no, we could perform, but like we didn't have time. We just now. She just sent now. But okay, we can perform like in 1 hour. No, I'm kidding.
You can.
No. I'm trying to get fit as well, man.
Next telethon, the next telethon.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But for the choreography as well, there are lots of things that people forget. Like you have to work your technique. If you work your technique, if you do class, if you're training, if you listen different, like if you watch different styles, different shows, you always get inspired. This helps a lot for your process of creation.
For sure.
Oh, I'm seeing the YouTube and I'm seeing you guys. It's so different. Okay,
cool.
I'll stop talking.
Yeah, I think we need to stop now, do we, Anna?
Oh, she's
on mute.
Anna, you're on mute.
We can't hear you.
I do this all the time. I leave myself on mute. Yes, we need to stop.
Okay. So I'll wrap up. Just say thank you to everyone for joining us, and I hope you guys all learned something. Please donate to the cause to help our beautiful Zouk artists worldwide. And also, me and Steve are perfectly happy. I'm sure the other guys are as well. If you have any questions, you want to write to us on Facebook. It's Izzy Washington on Facebook and Instagram. And Dance AM is our dance school, and also in Brisbane. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to join us.
You guys are beautiful.
Yeah, you guys.
Steve, you're beautiful, even with long hair, man.
Thanks, mate.
I love your work. I love your
I'm
work.
going to kick Bruno out now. Love you, Bruno. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Thank you for making the effort to shuffle everything around. It was a bit crazy yesterday morning, just trying to work out the changes and everything because of the little scare we had. And yeah, we are currently on $510. Woo! Yay. So we've got like 20 hours left to get that up a lot. And now we have Gustav, who I will allow to. Hi. I think he can put his video on. And then he's going to be doing almost like an MTV thing for us of old Zouk videos and analyzing things. So more routines. Yay. Gustav, are you good to share screen?
Let me just check here. Let me just double check if I can share. Yeah. Okay, give me just a moment. Let me close all the other stuff here. Just a second. Okay. Let me see here.
I'm going to see how the comments are going. Let's see what's happening. What's happening, beautiful people on YouTube? We have 7 people watching on YouTube right now. Hello, everybody. Do you guys want to switch to Facebook? Gustav, do you want to switch to Facebook? Should we try switching to Facebook?
Whatever you want. I'm down for everyone.
I feel like we'll have more people on Facebook. Let's switch to Facebook. Let's see what happens.
Sure.